What if the most powerful religious leader on earth sat down 35,000 feet in the air, looked journalists dead in the eye, and said things that shook the entire world? What if he spoke about war, refugees, same-sex blessings, executions, and authoritarian leaders all in one 20-minute press conference? And what if every single answer left the room more stunned than the last? That's exactly what happened on April 23, 2026, aboard the papal flight from Africa to Rome. And by the time this video is over, you're going to understand why the whole world is talking about Pope Leo XIV and why his words matter to every single one of us, whether you're Catholic or not. Stay with me, because what happened on that plane is just getting started. Welcome back, beautiful people, to Royal Chronicles, your #1 destination for the stories that shape our world, told the way they deserve to be told. If you're new here, we are so glad you found us. Hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you never miss a moment. And to our loyal Royal Chronicles family, thank you for showing up. Let's get into it. Picture this: an 11-day apostolic journey, 18 flights, and more than 11,000 miles traveled through Algeria, Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea, the longest trip of Pope Leo XIV's young pontificate. He had just concluded a tour across Africa, visiting nations, meeting heads of state, blessing communities, and walking with the people. And as is tradition, on the flight back to Rome, he sat with journalists and opened the floor to questions. What followed was nothing short of remarkable. Before taking a single question, Pope Leo set the tone clearly. He stressed that the primary purpose of a papal trip is pastoral, not political. When I make a trip speaking for myself, but today as Pope, Bishop of Rome, especially an apostolic, pastoral trip, it is to find, accompany, and come to know the people of God, he said. But the journalists, they had other things on their minds. And to his credit, Pope Leo XIV didn't flinch. Not once. The first bombshell: war. Asked about the ongoing conflict involving Iran and its negotiations with the United States, Pope Leo said the stop-and-start peace process has created a chaotic and critical situation for the global economy. And beyond economics, he reminded the world that there are innocent people suffering because of this war. He called on all warring parties to make every effort to promote peace and to respect international law. He said, "It is very important that the innocent may be protected, which has not been the case in many places." Then came the moment that stopped the room cold. A journalist pressed the Pope to directly condemn the Iranian regime, a regime that, according to human rights organizations, executed more than 2,000 people in 2025 alone, the highest annual toll since the late 1980s. Pope Leo's response was measured, but it cut like a knife. "I condemn all actions that are unjust. I condemn the taking of people's lives. I condemn capital punishment. I believe that human life is to be respected and that all people from conception to natural death, their lives should be respected and protected. So when a regime, when a country, takes decisions which takes away the lives of other people unjustly, then obviously that is something that should be condemned." No country named, but everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. As a pastor, this Pope made his position undeniable: he cannot be in favor of war. Not now, not ever. Then came the migration question, and Pope Leo delivered one of the most human, raw, and powerful statements of the entire press conference. He affirmed that states have the right to enforce their borders, saying, "I'm not saying that. Everyone should be allowed to enter indiscriminately, sometimes creating situations even more unjust in the places they arrive at than those they left behind." But then he pivoted. And what he said next needs to be heard by every government, every border patrol, every policymaker on the planet. Migrants are human beings, and we must treat human beings humanely, not treat them worse than household pets or animals. Powerful, direct, unapologetic. Ahead of his planned June visit to Spain, where he will travel to the Canary Islands, a major entry point for African migrants crossing the Atlantic, Leo made it clear that the developed world has a responsibility to assist the global south in addressing the root causes of migration. This is a Pope who carries the weight of the world's forgotten people on his shoulders. And he wants you to know it. Now, this is the part of the press conference that sent shockwaves through the Catholic world. And honestly, through the entire global conversation about faith, inclusion, and tradition. A German journalist raised the controversial decision by Cardinal Reinhard Marx of Munich to authorize formalized blessings of same-sex couples within his diocese. The question to the Pope was direct: What do you make of it, and how do you preserve church unity? Pope Leo's answer was nuanced, surprising, and deeply telling. First of all, I think it's very important to understand that the unity or division of the church should not revolve around sexual matters. We tend to think that when the church is talking about morality, that the only issue of morality is sexual. And in reality, I believe there are much greater and more important issues, such as justice, equality, freedom of men and women, freedom of religion, that would all take priority before that particular issue. He did not endorse Cardinal Marx's decision. The Holy See had already communicated to the German bishops that it does not agree with the formalized blessing of same-sex couples beyond what Pope Francis had permitted an informal blessing, not a ceremony comparable to sacramental marriage. Leo added that going beyond that can cause more disunity than unity, and urged the Church to build its common ground on the teachings of Jesus Christ. But the headline here isn't what he said no to. It's the framework he offered the world. The Church's moral conversation is bigger than sexuality. Justice, equality, human dignity, freedom, these come first. And finally, the question that nobody wanted to ask but everybody was thinking. Did Pope Leo, by meeting with authoritarian presidents in Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, give them a moral endorsement? Was this Pope washing? Leo addressed it head-on, defending the Holy See's long-standing practice of maintaining diplomatic relations even with authoritarian governments, explaining that behind the scenes, there is enormous work done to promote justice, humanitarian causes, and even the release of political prisoners. He acknowledged the tension. He didn't pretend it didn't exist. But he made the case that engagement, quiet, steady, principled engagement, can do more than silence or condemnation ever could. And that, Royal Chronicles family, is the full picture of what happened aboard that papal plane on April 23, 2026. 20 minutes, 5 questions, and a pope who showed the world exactly who he is: unafraid, pastoral, complex, and deeply human. Whether you agree with every word he said or not, one thing is clear: Pope Leo XIV is not a pope who hides behind vague language. He speaks, he challenges, he provokes thought. And we are here for every single moment of it. If you learned something new today, do us a favor: share this video, leave a comment below telling us which part of this press conference moved you the most, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Royal Chronicles and join our growing family of curious, informed, and engaged viewers. We'll see you in the next one. Stay royal, stay informed. God bless.